Hello YouTube world, this is Siobhan the Celtic Empath, and I am coming to you again from outside in the wilderness in an undisclosed location in Ireland. So as always, here I am making my perfectly imperfect video for YouTube, my sporadic video. It's not working with the algorithm because I don't make videos, I don't churn them out every week on a regular basis. Whoever needs to find me is going to find me. I'm working away here on my own mission, on my own light work as a light warrior, and whoever finds me, congratulations and welcome to my space. So that is the problem, okay, I will admit. So there is one issue when I don't make regular videos. It means that there's long gaps and long spaces of time of a lot of stuff happening where I'm not cataloguing it, I guess, on YouTube, or I'm not sharing all of it as I go along with social media or the internet world. So I do kind of have to maybe do a little bit of catch up, or I also have to remind myself to get into that sort of practice of, oh gosh, you know, this is a video I've been intending to make for quite some time, this is what I need to be doing, and I have finally been prompted, a bit of a kick up the ass, to be honest, to get around to actually making this video. So it's actually pretty cold, so don't mind me if I do start shaking a little bit, because I'm outside, which is the place where I prefer to be, in nature. So the update, where do I start with this? So okay, so I am empathic. I consider myself a light warrior and a starseed. I've been on this journey for a long time, I'll tell you. Recently, as an update, I recently got qualified as an aura hypnosis therapist. Now for me, this brought an awful lot of things together for me. I can't explain it to you, I can't explain enough, and that is another video that I'm going to do, to just talk about my whole journey in getting to aura, and that's going to be a long video, which I don't like doing. I like short videos. But I think it's actually worth sharing when I do make that video. So hang tough, that is coming. But okay, so long story short, there's a lot of things happening out there, and things are actually changing quite quickly as the weeks are going by, even though we're in lockdown. And part of our experience might be a feeling of same old every day, every week, because we're in lockdown. We're limited to what it is that our movements are, what we can do, where we can go, who we can see, how we socialize, different things. But underneath the surface, there's an awful lot of things changing, and changing internally within us as well. So I hope that you've all been going internally, because that's the opportunity we have in lockdown, is to really go internally, and for once and for all to actually look inside. Surprise! I just time traveled here to my couch. It was getting a bit too cold outside, the evening is coming in, and I was a bit distracted with all the cars passing. Unfortunately, I actually live near a very busy road, so I felt it was better to come inside and just try to concentrate on getting my message across in this video. So I'm going to pick up where I left off. I was talking a little bit about aura and how I was recently aura trained. So I've been practicing, now I'm practicing taking clients since September, officially since September. And being aura and Ra Reiki trained has, as I was saying, kind of brought an awful lot of different aspects together, things that I was missing, things that I couldn't quite figure out for myself. So the past, I would say, 2 years has been a massive learning curve for me, and I've learned so much and expanded my own mind an awful lot. to things that I had closed myself off to. And that is kind of the experience, I think, for a lot of light worker people, is that we were born awakened, quite awakened, and knowing a lot of things and having a lot of different connections, and then going through childhood and adulthood, you know, we're conditioned by society, by our families and so on, to kind of disconnect from our own real true natures, and that becomes very disturbing, can be very disturbing. It's been very soul destroying for a lot of light warriors and light workers to have to try to condition themselves. And so I would say that for me personally, there's been a lot of deconditioning going on in the past couple of years, and it can be a slow process, and you can't expect it to happen overnight, which it doesn't. But it's gotten me to this stage, to this part, where I'm now again learning to embrace who I am, what I am, and all the different aspects and parts of me, whatever that entails. But that also means getting back to kind of the brass roots of things. So when I was younger, and particularly in my teenage years, I had a very active dream life. So I used to dream an awful lot, and if I wasn't dreaming at nighttime during my sleep hours, then I was daydreaming a lot during the day, which is just another aspect of your consciousness or your subconscious mind tapping into that part of your imagination, and also connecting with your third eye as well. So for me, it was also a combined experience of using my third eye, where I thought I was just daydreaming or making things up or imagining stuff. So what I've come to really understand and to accept about working with your third eye is that it's all the parts of that. It's all parts of using our imagination. It's all part of what we imagine. We imagine things, oh my God, did I just think that? Did I just see that? Did I just have that vision? Did I just have that image flash before me? Oh, I must be imagining all of that stuff. What is it? Where does it all come from? But taking that activity, you're then, what do you do with it when you take it a step further and you're going into your sleep time, to your dream time at night time? Where are you going and what are you doing when you go into sleep? So what happens is, traditionally, about every 12 nights, we astral travel, we soul travel, we go out into the world at nighttime, and we travel around and we meet other souls, we meet our higher self, we meet other angelic beings. And as light workers and light warriors, we're out there actually doing work at nighttime, which is why, I think I have explained this in a previous video, many of us wake up feeling absolutely wrecked tired after having 8 hours sleep, and we wake up the next morning going, oh my God, I'm so tired, I feel like I've been out all night working. And that's because you quite possibly have been. So I was asked a question during the week, and I'm not going to say your name, but you probably know who you are. You emailed me, and I want to respond. I actually have 2 videos that I have to do in response to your email, and that was the prompt, the kick up the butt that I got during the week in order to tell me to get a move on with my stuff, get a move on with my human work, with the work that I know that I'm doing at nighttime, but I'm having that challenge of trying to catch up with it and keep up with it during the day, and also the challenge of what is it that I share, what do I not share about my dream time, about my imagination, about my third eye work, about my starseed work, what it is that I'm doing. And so that was a question, a bridge that I crossed a few weeks ago, and I had a conversation with a friend of mine who also is extremely aware and is a channel, and I felt like really stuck in this place because I'm having certain dreams and information come through to me at nighttime. But for a long time I've just keep it to myself and I don't share it. I don't talk about it. I might tell one or two trusted friends. And this was like a dilemma for me, because part of me was thinking, God, this is really like good information and it's really important. And I was wondering how many more people, light workers, light warriors, starseeds in the world are all having the same experience. How many are waking up in the morning wondering, okay, A, what have I been doing at nighttime because I feel so wrecked? B, waking up with recollections of, I think I've been somewhere. I have vague recollections, what may feel like dreams that I've got images, or you're waking up at the very end of a dream sequence, or something that's not quite a dream but that actually feels very real. Because there are many different forms and types of, you know, dreams that we have, or states of dreams that we have. And so for the more advanced individual, we're having recollections of what we're doing at nighttime. For the most part, what we're doing at nighttime, a lot of us, is very sacred. It's very important, and it's kept as part of our soul mission, that we're actually not supposed to be conscious of it. We're not supposed to remember, and that is important. That's important for you as an individual to be able to get on with your daily life, because sometimes if we know too much information and we share it, it may not actually be safe for us to do that. Considering that as awakened light worker beings, we know what we're up against in the universe. We know we've an idea of what's going on, don't we? We may have various different formulations or opinions of what we think is happening, but there's a lot of us are pretty well agreed that there is some kind of spiritual warfare going on, okay? And if you don't agree with that, fine, well and good, then, you know, you may not want to like listen to this video and to the rest of this video if you're not in agreement with that or don't think, but then you don't have to be, because the information is still actually quite relevant either way. So when we come back from certain astral traveling states, is what I'm going to probably just refer to it as, that we're waking up with vague recollections just at the tail end of things. So at the tail end of your sleep, and you're waking up and you've got some really vivid memory, a couple of seconds memory of what you're doing, and what, so you have this little synapses and insight into where you've been, what you're doing, who you've been with, or maybe not. You may have more detail or less detail, but it feels very vivid and very strong. So this has been happening to me quite a lot for a long time. So my dream time and my sleep time is very important to me, and it really can't be interfered with through my human life. So that has its own challenges in itself. But I know that my spiritual mission and my spiritual work is just as important as to my daily responsibilities, as is for all of us. But I did cross that bridge of this feeling the whole time of like, oh, maybe I should be sharing this information, maybe I should be talking more about it, maybe I should be telling people. Who should I tell? How do I tell them? And this is all part, of course, of the light worker, light warrior being called to action, being called to honor your call, being called into a role of stepping forward, as I used to call it, stepping out of the closet as a light worker, and actually declaring and saying, you know what, actually I consider myself to be a light worker, and I have done for a long, long time before I even knew what the term meant, or I knew that the term even existed. I just always knew that I was a being of light, and I had a will to fight inside of me. And fighting is what we are doing at nighttime. So it's very important I'm going to do a second video because I have a message that I am going to share, that I have to share from one of my own dream times, and it's time for me to share it. But the first part of the question that I want to answer is in relation to when we go to sleep. The question was something like about having a cantation or a prayer of protection, or what kind of rituals can we do to protect ourselves just before we go to sleep, because a lot of us know that when we go to sleep we're being attacked in our sleep, or that our souls are going out into the universe and perhaps encountering what can be quite risky or sort of, I suppose you could say, dangerous sort of situations, because we're dealing with darkness. And I don't mean that in the obvious sense of darkness. I mean that in the sense of the spiritual warfare that's going on out there. Okay, so my tips and things, what I have learned in the past few years when it comes to nighttime and to astral traveling. So first of all, absolutely 100% yes, absolutely, before you go to sleep, say a prayer. This is kind of one of the very basic fundamental things that even lots of us at some point in history were taught as children, was to say a prayer at nighttime. So that is one of the first things that we can be doing. After that, there are different variations of prayers, because not all of us want to recite a traditional prayer. There's nothing wrong with a traditional prayer. Like, I'm Catholic born, Catholic reared, consider myself to be more Christian probably than Catholic. I'm not a practicing Catholic, but I do say my own prayers, and my own prayer would be anything very simply like, you can speak to your God, your goddess, to your creator, to address the person, the power in that way. It doesn't have to be God, it doesn't have to be male, it doesn't have to be female, but to address in the respectful manner in order to make that connection. And you are really addressing your higher self. And to call upon the archangels, Archangel Michael, and to call upon Archangel Metatron, to call upon, now there's a lot of prayers, depending over the years when I've experienced a lot of black magic and psychic attack. And particularly, of course, it always ramps up at nighttime. I often use a lot of gospel prayers, so there would be incantation prayers that are used against, specifically against demonic and satanistic powers. So they'd be very strong prayers. And I've used those over the years. I have come across many of them on YouTube. There's a number of different channels that are extremely powerful, that have incantations of extremely powerful anti-demonic and satanic prayers to cast out the demons, basically, if you're under an awful lot of satanic and demonic attack. The other thing is, it's a connected thing, because a lot of it has to do with our own vibrancy and our own frequency. So in order to raise our own frequencies, but if we're not yet at the level where our frequency is high enough that our aura can completely just repel the negativity, other things that we can do is having our crystals, so our heavier crystals, like the black obsidians, the hematite, the shungite, using these crystals, wearing them. Aqua aura is another one that I would highly recommend as well. I found that one to be particularly powerful against entity attacks. So wearing those type of crystals on your skin, having them as jewellery, keeping them with you at all times, but make sure that they're actually touching you. So you can have it in your pocket, and okay, it is good to have the energy of it close to you. That's vital. But when you're under, or if you feel that you know that at night time as you enter sleep that you may be vulnerable to attack, is to have these crystals actually touching off of your skin. So whether you wear it as a necklace, a ring, or a bracelet. So that would be another recommendation. That's something very powerful that I used for a long time as well. And I, up until quite recently actually, I haven't, I guess, felt the need in a sense anymore to actually use them or to have them attached to me as much as I used to before. Crystals, I mean. So using purple light. So when we go to sleep, we need to consciously connect to our higher selves. And part of that is also working on the energy flow, the energy systems within our body. So when I say that, I mean that drawing in light through your crown chakra at nighttime, bringing it down through your body, down through all of your chakras, bringing it down into your feet, so getting the circulation of energy going in your body. And then you imagine what is called the toroidal sphere. So with this flow of energy, you then imagine the energy flowing back up your body, and it's flowing out the top of your head and it goes all around you. And so it's creating this like massive circular sphere that flows all around your body in every direction out from the top. So it's almost like a fountain of water spraying out everywhere, if you like. So it's everywhere, full 360 degrees. And then that has a flow where it comes down, it comes back, connects into your feet and flows back up your body, and so the cycle continues. So this is extremely effective to start this energy flow at nighttime before you go to sleep. Get the toroidal sphere flowing, start feeling it, bring in, now I prefer to use purple color rather than white. I know a lot of people are into using white light because it's pure white, so of course this should protect you and all of that. I am not sure that it works quite like that. Yes, it is pure, it is the pure light. Using it for protection for me has never actually worked. In fact, if anything, when I was using white light, I think it actually drew more to me, because I think the white light probably brightened my aura, made me more visible. I was already bright enough anyway that I was under enough attack, but the attack always seemed to get worse at nighttime. So I discovered for me this, and this is my own experience, my own discernment, so I can only share what I have learned. And I'll tell you, I've been through it for the past few years. So the white for me, I think, was more like a beacon. It was like, this one's glowing out there. Look at all this white light energy she's got. Whoa, like, we love her. And that really was what I was experiencing. So I did not feel better for using the white light in relation to protecting myself. Okay, so that didn't work for me for that time frame. What worked for me was bringing in different strong colors. So I used in particularly purple colors. So you may be familiar with the purple flame or the violet flame. So you bring this into your toroidal sphere. Now the second part to working with your toroidal sphere, you also must activate what is called the Merkaba field. You got to start working with the Merkaba. If you're going to be going out there and you've got a weak Merkaba field, then it's the same thing, because this is the energy field again that protects you, keeps you safe. It's your time traveling capsule. It's the whole lot. It's part of your auric projection. So we want to keep that really clear. So again, same idea. We're activating both things at the same time. So we're going to work with both the toroidal sphere and the Merkaba field. So I'm going to assume at the moment that you know what the Merkaba field looks like. I'm I will put that information up on, I'm nearly launching my website. It's nearly done. I may actually have it ready this weekend. But I am going to do a second video this weekend. Surprise, surprise. You'll be amazed by how much productivity I'm going to get done this weekend. And I may leave the same clothes on, so you'll actually know that, oh, she did those 2 videos. It was that weekend. She was busy. So the working, okay, I digress. I'm messing. Working with your toroidal sphere and your Merkaba field. So those 2 are important. And they would be my biggest pieces of advice before you go to sleep at nighttime, when you know that you're probably going to be astral traveling, or even, actually, does any of us know, the fact that we're hoping that we might be going out into the universe, traveling and working with the galactics. Now, the other part of it is also about having a lot of trust and faith, and actually knowing that at nighttime, that when you're going out there on soul missions, at those particular missions, you're utterly 100% completely protected anyway. So when you're on your soul work at nighttime, you're completely divinely protected. The risk is when you are coming back down into your body, when you're coming into that awakening state, and when the mind starts to become more active, your consciousness. That's the risky part, is when you're coming back. That's the part then, because you're coming back down into low density, back into your body, which is extremely dense. So that's when the energy changes. That's when the energy takes that opportunity to come in and to swarm, to attach to you. So it's at that point you're working towards, having been working with your Merkaba and your toroidal sphere, that they are strong enough, that once you hit that density field, that they are still strong enough at that point, when you're dropping down soul into your body, that they're staying strong enough, that they were able to hold, so that you've done enough work on them to strengthen them and maintain the vibration, so that, again, nothing negative can actually attach and come to you. So at the moment, that is as much as I can recall. They are probably the most significant things that I have learned to use, the most beneficial things that I've learned to use over the years. So it is a twofold effect. There is the other part of it where I wanted to say that also there's the part where we need to trust and believe. We need to trust ourselves when we're working with our own energy fields. And this is a whole other topic of conversation as well. But when you're working with your Merkaba, when you're working with your toroidal sphere, when you're bringing in, let's say, for example, if you choose the purple or violet light, that you are trusting and believing that it's working, that it's happening. Even if at the time you're having a challenge really visualizing it or feeling it or sensing it, just actually by the very act that we're asking, that all of a sudden we in our minds are elevating our thoughts enough to reach out to the higher self, to raise our minds up to the God mind, to ask for help. It's already there. It's already happening. It's already coming in, whether or not you actually can see it 100% or explicitly see, feel or know it at that moment in time. So this part of actually trusting in this God source, in the source that we do feel that is completely outside of ourselves, which actually in truth it's actually not outside of ourselves. This is the thing. We're actually talking to ourselves. We're asking ourselves to protect ourselves. So also there is part of this knowing that we're not separate from that God power, that the higher self power is actually within us. So we're actually going inside, even though we're thinking we're going outside because we're asking God. But what we're doing, we're truly connecting inside when we're working with our own energy fields, when we're working with the toroidal sphere, when we're bringing in the energies. What we're actually doing is connecting internally. You're going inside. That's where the focus should be. You shift your focus in here because you're shifting yourself into the sense of trying to sense, feel, and know about your own energy field, which is what? That's all that your Merkaba is. That's all that the toroidal sphere is. They're just all projections of your own energy field. Whether or not they actually really truly exist is a whole other question. Do they exist? Do chakras even exist? Do we need them? Do we think we need them? Do we believe that they exist? Or is it the belief that makes them exist? That we're all believing this together, that we need this system for us to survive or to maintain our spiritual bodies. Okay, so I'm not going to go too deep into that now, but there's just some other questions to consider and to think about. So I hope that's kind of answered the first part of that question, and thank you for your email. I'm not going to say your name on publicly like that, but I hope you get to watch this video, and I hope that whatever I've spoken about is actually helpful and relevant. There's me trying to take shortcuts again. I'm always trying to take shortcuts. And I will be making the second video in relation to a message that I received through one of my dreams that I know that I am actually meant to share, and I am not going to be afraid anymore to share my my channelings, my channeled messages, my insights, whatever it is that you want to call them. All it is really is relevant information that's coming through that we all need to know about. So I'm going to start doing that. And so thank you for watching and listening to this video. I hope it was helpful. And yeah, follow me on, I don't know, on my social media things if you want to. And yeah, I have a website coming out this weekend, so yay! So I'm gonna try and just start putting more information up on that, really and truly. But you know, hey, I'm busy like everybody else. I'm in art college. I'm an art college student at the moment. I'm also a parent. So I have a couple of chickens that need to be fed and looked after, you know, the usual sort of stuff. So at some point I will get a consistent routine and start sharing my work more and more, even if it has to be shorter videos and maybe using platforms like Instagram more, but at least YouTube has this chronology of things. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening. Share the video if you feel like it. Yeah, there's more to come.